And then Route, the instant speed thing can be pretty cute in the right situation. Sometimes it's just not all that great, but also remember that Route also says they can't be regenerated, so worst case scenario it becomes a 5-mana Wrath of God, and I'd still rather have this than, say, a Day of Judgment or something. And then Austere Command and Achroma's Vengeance basically serve the same purpose. If somebody's got an artifact or enchantment heavy field, this can take care of that. Austere Command can be very cute because sometimes you'll have a lot of big creatures and they'll have a lot of small creatures, or vice versa, and it becomes a one-sided Wrath of God if you choose the correct modes. So that obviously can be pretty good. Stormherd, one of the reasons that I fear other commandeers is Stormherd, but it's won me a hell of a lot of games, so I'm not planning to take it out anytime soon. I've probably won more games off of Stormherd than any other card in my deck. It's basically like, well, you're on a 1-turn clock now, so it's pretty good. And then the classic Bribery. Bribery, in my opinion, is needed for EDH, so ridiculous cards like, Ulamog, or not Emrakul anymore, don't just totally wreck, because now you have to worry about, well, what if it gets Bribery away? And, if somebody's playing really fat creatures like Ulamog, this Bribery is really going to punish them for playing something like that. Onto the creatures. I have some utility creatures and also some beaters. Azorius Guildmage I really enjoy. I think it's, for EDH, easily the best Guildmage there is. Both of the abilities are pretty relevant. Tapping a creature repeatedly is great for like general-based strategies where they don't obviously have Shroud or any sort of protection, but it can be very, very useful. Phyrexian Metamorph, used to run Clone, but then this came out and it's like, wow, this is pretty much just a strictly better clone. So that's cute. Grand Abolisher, I really enjoy this card. Anything where I like to play defensively, and this plays perfectly into it. It's like, they can't hurt me as much on my turn. Your spells can't get countered that you cast during your turn. Aven Mind Sensor just shuts down decks that run a lot of tutors or rely on tutors. A really good answer to like a Survival of the Fitness type card or what have you, Fauna Shaman. Windborne Muse is basically another propaganda effect. The 2/3 flying body is nice sometimes, but also, since it's a creature, it dies a hell of a lot more easily, but still very useful. Sun Titan, I didn't actually used to run this card in EDH, thinking, oh, it only hits, things with converted mana cost 3 or less. It's actually absolutely incredible, and would strongly recommend this card to pretty much any EDH deck with white in it. It's just so good to have something, and even if you don't have a lot of things that you would want to reoccur, your stuff still gets destroyed, your lands get destroyed, whatever, you'll get it back with that. So Angelic Arbiter, another really defensive card, but on a stronger body that you can actually swing in and win with. This card can certainly lock your opponents down. Speaking of locking down, Blazing Archon, another just really strong card that people are just going to have if they don't have an answer for it, you can just keep attacking them and win, while they can basically do nothing except block if they have flyers. But Trinket Mage, 99% of the games for me, I'm just grabbing Sensei's Divining Top. Of course, if I already have it, then I'm probably going to grab his Soul Ring. But so he basically just becomes something that fetches out your Sensei's Divining Top. But even if you already have that, he's still good for getting a piece of Artifact Ramp or Artifact Land, so he's quite useful. Fate Spinner, another defensive card. Slows them down. If they want to attack you, they're going to have to skip some phase. And most of the time, they're just going to skip their combat phase and wait till they have a big field, which leaves them more vulnerable to your wrath effects. Teferi, another defensive card that's going to stop them from countering your spells, so that's always good. Magus of the Future. Not quite as good as Future Sight, since it's a creature, dies more easily, but still quite useful for going on long combos or whatever, drawing cards, playing them. Arcanos the Omnipotent, absolutely amazing when you can get a Reliquary Tower and a Minamu and just draw 6 cards a turn. Well, 7 plus your original. Consecrated Sphinx, another really good one. This can get pretty silly pretty quick, just how many cards you're drawing. Stormtide Leviathan, huge beater, and locks your opponents down. I mean, this is great. And Tidespout Tyrant, my last creature. When this plus capsize equals pretty much you're gonna win. So he's really good and a beater and evasive. So